Okay, thank you very much. Okay, who want to answer the question?
It is our hope that as we begin to really establish these ministries, and as we begin to meet partners like yourself in other parts of the world, that perhaps we can receive invitations to come and share with you, or to share resources that you can use yourself to teach your colleagues. So I know David and I have done some encounters with people in the Caribbean after a natural disaster. And during COVID, we offered different workshops with some of our international partners. So it's a growing, emerging ministry that I think would be very exciting to know how we could be a resource to one another. Also, what you could teach us from what you have learned as well that we may not know.
That will be really great if maybe Dr. Ben can connect us something, because we also have gone through as a country from one disaster to another, and just coming out of a political crisis. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think also our global consultants are traveling and coordinators too pretty extensively. So we can also make an arrangement for Joyce and David or Rhonda also and other colleagues to visit your country, and then we can have the conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, Ho Jin has a hand. All right, Ho Jin.
First of all, thank you, David and Joyce and Rhonda. You are, sharing. We have been praying for your mission work. I think David and Joyce visit our region many times, so I remember that. My question is, what is the challenge of cross-cultural global consultant mission work?
Your question is, what is challenging about cultural adaptation for missionaries?
Yes, cross-cultural.
Yeah. It reaches on multiple levels for global servants. When you go to another culture, you're adapting to the culture that is there because it is not going to change for you. So part of that is learning the language and customs that help you to interact well and to love well. So it's not just language, it is the subtleties that happen within community where we can make a bridge and begin to engage together. So studies show that in the first 5 years, the global servants who don't cross that bridge to the other culture usually don't survive on the mission field. The stress of trying to make another culture fit you, it has just becomes so constant that you feel like you're just consistently fighting against something that you don't understand. So that cultural adaptation is a major part of the first term. Within that, also, studies show that missionaries develop a personality construct that fits that culture. That's part of the first term also, is letting go of how you know yourself and God in your home culture and learning how to know yourself and God and to love well in a different culture. So I'll just share that little piece, but that's a major part of the first term, especially for global servants.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Rhonda maybe could speak to this also because it has physical. It impacts us physically as well.
I think most of us know that it's not just bad stress. I mean, just the stress of moving and the stress of adapting to another culture and the stress of helping, if you have children, helping your children adapt to the new culture and learning a new language, just the stress on the body and the mind, and just new new bacteria and new viruses that our bodies aren't used to, and the illnesses that that we get when we move to another country. It just all causes stress on the body and the mind.
I would add too, you have to practice daily humility, that constant struggle to surrender. We talk about conforming to the image of Christ for the sake of others, but conforming to the image of Christ is, it looks different in different circumstances, and especially when you're in another culture. Many times you are facing a lot of places inside of yourself that don't always come up in your home culture. So it's an invitation to, lean deeper into your discipleship. But that takes humility. And, I think some of us are surprised. We think we're humble people, but then, we get into situations where we realize, oh, we have a lot more pride than we realized. So what are we willing to let go of and to release as we lean into that ministry?
I'll add just one quick story of my own journey. When we were in Mexico, one of the deepest joys I had was coming to know that there is really only one church and one body and one faith and one baptism, and it knows and speaks all languages. It knows and lives and thrives in all cultures. That experience expanded me and my understanding of God tremendously. It has marked the rest of my days of knowing and understanding God. So that challenge has a tremendous joy to it as we encounter Christ in other faces and languages.
Thank you. We have Centenary Baptist Church and Makanda raise their hands, so you can unmute and ask your questions.
Hi, Reverend Ben.
Yes. Hi.
This is Dr. Christopher. And this is Reverend Niranjan Babu.
Yes.
Dr. Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, we are actually having a Baptist mission hospital, which is now for the last 10 years has been running. We are interested in a missionary training affiliated to CMC Vellore. They do have a program for training missionaries to work in mission stations in medical field. So CMC Vellore would be of great help to us for starting a missionary training program in Alampala Mission Hospital. That will strengthen our missionary work that we are doing in the rural areas. So that will be very important thing for the church. So,
thank you. It looks like it is a question for me. Yeah, International Ministries work with a Christian hospital and college. As I mentioned, CMC Vellore. It has been for a long time. In fact, I'm a board member of their U.S. foundation. So I can work with Professor Christopher and the church and give them more information. But if David, Rhonda, David, and Joyce want to tell them, how we provide support to train or to identify medical missionaries, if you have any suggestion for them, you can share as well.
Rhonda, did your background at all in Bolivia with your medical clinics and some of the things you experienced, would any of that expertise or ways we could connect people?
My guess would be the trainings would be facilitated not only through Ben, but for global servants that are in your area. For our foundation, we trained volunteer doctors and dentists, not just personally trained them, and also brought in specialists from medical teams from the States and partners with Canadian Baptists to help train our volunteer doctors and dentists in the foundation. That would probably be coordinated through Ben and the local global consultants in your area, I think.
Yes, yeah, we will be more than happy to work together on this task.
I think it would be exciting too, Ben, to with some of our partners in South Africa and the Valor Hospital, that our colleagues there might be able to share a lot of amazing information back and forth.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay. Any other questions or feedback?
I'm wondering if any of our esteemed guests from other parts of the world might share with us how what the spiritual care, mental health look like in your context. What can you share with us?
Yeah, we have friends from Sri Lanka, South Korea, and India. So anyone who would like to share?
Could you repeat the question? It was not very clear.
Well, as each of you are either working with missionary colleagues in your context or sending missionaries to other places, I'm wondering also how you are providing spiritual care and mental health care, you know, in your training, what it might look like. What could we learn from you?
Leeds is a Christian organization, and it's Christians who work, and the people who work with us are people who serve in the front line, whether it is in disaster response or whether it is working with children who are survivors of abuse. So one thing that we try to do, but sometimes, various challenges that we cannot do, where we take time away from work to have times of de-stress. It's been very effective because going away from for 2 or 3 nights away, and initially the first day is or that first afternoon when we travel, time is given for people to simply, if they want to sleep, or go just for a walk, or it's quiet time. Then the following morning they would have it will be very not full sessions, but a morning, a sharing, more to share a thought, so that the rest of the day you reflect, you are given a notebook and a pen, you are given time to relax, so that, but strictly no mobile phones, which means no taking outside calls, and only one person in case of some emergency in a family to contact. Only the coordinator's number is given for an emergency. But other than that, so that really helps. And we only thing is it's very costly when you have to go out. So we did it last right after the pre-COVID. That is when we had an Easter where the churches were attacked in Sri Lanka, and we had over 350 people dying. And by giving out, people were simply tired. And sometimes you give out, but you yourself are affected. So taking the time away just to calm yourselves, to de-stress, is a very good practice. And that's why I asked also for any resources or support towards the staff.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Mhm. I also have a question. What are some of the challenges that you see, the spiritual challenges and perhaps the mental, physical, emotional challenges that you recognize among leaders and pastors in your
Yeah,
areas?
first thing, of course, is so we as a nation, we proclaim or we go as a singular Buddhist nation. So which means like some people who are from different other ethnic backgrounds from the minorities, so that itself causes rejection. And then being Christians, because the Christian population is very only, including the Catholics, it's only 7%. So most people have gone through persecution. And for those particularly who are living in the villages, the poorer communities, one thing is they cannot put their children into a government school. Then that's a huge hassle when your child doesn't have a school, or the child is forced to study Buddhism because there aren't any teachers to teach Christianity. That's one. The other thing is you get left out, even if you're on a government scheme and entitled to receive something, you will not receive. Like during COVID, we saw this in a big way. Then as an organization like LEADS, because our name itself, Lanka Evangelical Alliance Development Service. So we've had like where we have won proposals in an open bid. The latest being I myself wrote virtually overnight a proposal to Plan International, won it. But unfortunately, the governing body, the National NGO Secretariat said, we cannot give it to LEADS, but instead they wanted a single Buddhist organization to get that $350,000 project. I was so sad. There's so much of effort went into writing it. So that's like openly. So the Plan International regional people, that was going to be their handover gift to us when they were leaving the country. They could not understand as to why, because they did the due diligence. I mean, we won the proposal, they did due diligence, everything was fine, the audit organization audit was done. But then this bureaucrat came and put a stop to the whole program. So individually, also we've gone through persecution, organizational we've seen, and even to the communities that we respond. So the work that we do with the churches, for an example, we cannot report it to the government. Recently, last year, we gave to children in the churches like school stationery packs because we had a crisis, and because of the crisis, people could not afford. So we got into a huge problem. We had to do it under the carpet or under the radar, where we would work with the churches directly. We cannot report it, we cannot talk about it. So it makes our work very difficult, and so that causes us stress. And that's why having this de-stress or staff care is of primary importance.
I think you're sharing what many of us have experienced with layers of grief and loss and compassion fatigue. And I just thank you. Thank you for really helping us understand your context.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you. And what has just mentioned is a very important trend. I would say, in fact, it is a global trend. In fact, in quite a number of countries, especially in Asia, we are seeing this kind of, may not be direct persecution, but it's more like a suffocation. It's like we deny you of this, we deny you of that. So suddenly, Christians who are still citizens of the country are denied of all the things that we are entitled to do as a citizen. And that's why Of course, we'll continue to do the evangelism. I mean, the traditional one, right? Discipleship and so forth.
Church
But the
planting,
second part
yeah.
is what we talk about, taking good care of God's servants, right? And then the third
Yeah.
part we are focusing also on is the capacity building. I mean, if they are denied of a lot of basic way, in fact, they can do good job, in fact, to serve the community. If they cannot get it, then they will rely on the international network of Christians to work side by side with them to that. And of course, I am affirm all this.
In fact, one of the churches the church that I worship in, we started a school because at least the church that I go to, we started a school for all the children who are getting rejected from the national schools. But those who come to that are people who are with lesser means. So to keep running such a school is a huge cost, but the need is severe. So that's just one practical example. When your child does not have a school.
But it's interesting to hear this, to have this conversation, because almost every international mission starts with three things: the church, the school, and the hospital, right? So it's I call it a Trinitarian formula of how mission happens, almost in every country, right? And then we thought that we are done, as most countries are well developed, then we can kind of, pass the education and hospital responsibility to government or community. But then this trend of Christians and being denied of some basic, welfare and rights, and then we're coming back to square one. All right, or maybe we should restore the Trinitarian formula of mission to help Christians of every local community and country being equipped and resourceful.
One of the things that we have studied quite a bit is how God has created us with a nervous system that responds to what's happening around us. And we all know what happens when we are in fight or flight or freeze, or sort of when we become shut down from what's happening around us in our context. What we have learned to identify is that it is very hard to love well when our nervous system is reacting to what's happening around us and we are fighting or trying to run or just trying to survive in our situation. So part of our work, and this is with Rhonda and our work, is to help people to find how to move from that reactive state back into a place of resilience where they can respond well and love well to those around them. And so that's oftentimes just finding the language for our reactive state helps begin that process of becoming regulated again. And so, I mean, Jesus meets us there and invites us into a deeper place of self-awareness so that we can hand this over to Jesus in circumstances that we can do nothing about. We can learn to love well, and sometimes that is very hard.
I would like to add that one way that it's just so important that we do that is through community and just having the honor of serving cross-culturally and the community for me personally, with people that worked in the foundation in Bolivia. Just the love and compassion shown from them, from you guys in your ministry context, and the resilience that you have just from living in the countries that you live in. and how your servant hearts and the compassion that you show to us as global servants. Just thank you for providing that community for us too.
Yeah, thank you, Rhonda, as well. I think what you said is so well. I mean, several of us also. Very amazed that COVID is a very difficult time, 3 years at least, right? But at the same time, it opens up opportunity, because no matter what faith you have or you don't have a religious group you relate to, we are exposed to the same kind of threat, and we have friends and family who passed away because of COVID, right? So basically, it opens up, to us to extend a more unconditional love. We just do not just come for so-called religious purpose, right? We just care for human. We care for each other. Yeah. And that's why I think Joyce and David and Rhonda, your work is so important, because you address the basic one, of our common humanity. Right?
Ben, thank you. It's true. Most of us just want to be seen and heard with authenticity. We want someone to listen to our story and acknowledge whatever's going on in our life, to receive compassion. So I just want to honor all of you who are on this call today, the ministries that you're involved with. I can see many of you are pastors, many of you are caregivers where you are serving. And, we will be praying for you too. Never underestimate the power of prayer. But I know that when we even can have a forum like this to encourage each other, to connect all the way from different parts of the world, God is glorified, and we are encouraged in our hearts too. So I thank you for your presence here today.
Mm.
Yeah, so we will continue this conversation, but I want to remind you that, in fact, if you check your email from our office, in June, we'll have another round of workshops. You can participate too, so we have different topics. So you can go back to check your email. If you cannot find it, just come to me or come to any missionaries or staff. You know, okay? Any other questions, feedback, sharing? Now, among us, David Ho Jin Yi, Reverend Kim, and in fact, we have Reverend Cha as well. They're also working very hard how to provide support to their pastors in South Korea. I mean, South Korea gave us this impression, right? They're mega churches, they are Superman. I mean, the pastors, they are missionaries there. They can just basically conquer everything, right? Which is true. But at the same time, if you talk to them, they will also tell you that they're also human, right? And so I wonder if Reverend Kim or Reverend Cha or David or Ho Jin also can share with us, what you are trying to work on in South Korea, especially with the pastors.
I would like to invite Pastor Cha, his mission director. So Pastor Cha, would you sharing with us about your mission denomination developing work?
You need to unmute yourself. Let me see.
Pastor Cha, mute or mute.
Unfortunately, I cannot unmute him, so you have to unmute yourself. Yeah. Got it.
I'm
Good.
sorry, I can understand. Sorry. Okay, I can help him to Korean. Excuse me. Pastor Cha, 그 KBCROK의 그 선교에 대해서 또 이렇게 발전하는 그런 과정을 잠깐 쉐어해 달라고 하네요.
그럼 목사님 통역하시겠어요? 목사님 통역.
오케이.
예, 저희는 가르치는 선교 위주의 선교를 지향하고 있습니다.
We are trying to teach our churches and also pastors learning about how to we mission together. That is our goal of the gathering and sharing.
그래서 목회자들이나 처치 리더들을 이렇게 한 2박 3일 정도 아니면은 뭐 하루 집중해서 이렇게 저희가 성경에 있는 주요 주제들을 가르치고 있습니다.
We also developing with pastors and the church leaders literally about how to we mission together through biblical themes of the scriptures.
저희는 지금 인도와 필리핀, 일본, 말레이시아, 또 그쪽에서 이렇게 쪽에서 활동하고 계신 선교사님들이 계십니다.
Also, we have a missionary in Philippines, India, and Japan, and Malaysia, and Omo.
예, 대충 그 정도.
Yeah, yeah, we have missionaries, spread the gospel in those countries right now.
그래서 저희가 1년에 최소 한 번 이상은 방문해서 이렇게 세미나를 개최하거나 아니면 2년에 한 번씩 한국에서 또 이렇게 목회자들을 초청해서 세미나를 갖고 있습니다.
So once a year, our KBCROK churches, pastors, those who want to short-term mission trip to those area, we share with developing seminar and workshop. And also once or 2 years, we invite them to South Korea as we hear their mission work, their areas.
저희는 또 우리 총회와 기독교의 미래를 위해서 젊은 청소년들이나 청년들을 미국에 또 교육 차원에서 보내기도 하고 또 선교 훈련 차원에서 선교지를 방문하는 프로그램을 운영을 하기도 합니다.
Also, we encourage to our young adult and teenagers to short-term mission trip to those areas. And also, we went to ABC USA, including international ministry. We are learning about how to we mission through other denomination experience.
저희는 ABIM을 통해서 그 해외 선교의 가치를 더욱더 깊이 알게 되었습니다.
And we really appreciate IM mission work because they have been many years and they have a good resource over the mission. So we learn from IM a lot of resource to our own mission work to our missionary areas.
저희는 더욱더 긴 오랜 역사 동안에 선교해온 ABIM의 역사를 통해서 저희도 더 많은 것을 배우고 더 든든한 선교의 파트너로 성장하길 바랍니다.
we are so happy to partner with International Ministry because they have been a wonderful mission work and they have been a long history of a mission work for the kingdom of God.
항상 후원해 주시는 우리 벤첸 목사님, 그다음에 우리 유호진 컨설턴트에게 항상 감사드립니다. 감사합니다.
We appreciate Reverend Dr. Ben Chen, his support, and also David Hojan New, who is our consultant for our partnership build. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to have any information, or if you want to have a questions, you want to have further discussion, not necessarily in this section, you can put in your chat box. So I will save the chat message and I'll make sure I can pass it to our colleagues, okay? Or I will handle it, yeah. So I think our time will allow one more question, so one more sharing. And before, in fact, I would like to invite John to say the closing prayer after the last question or sharing, all right? So if you can pray for Joyce and David and Rhonda and this group. By the way, you do not know, John, in fact, is, as I introduced him, one of the senior most mission, sorry, I don't know how to say your title. You are the minister support, and then, I mean, one of the most active and strongest supporter of international ministries. Maybe that's the best way to say it. You are everywhere international ministries. So I'm so glad that you can join this section. Okay, but anyway, any one last more questions or sharing?
Pastor Ben, this
Yes.
is Pastor Niranjan Babu from Hanamakonda.
Yes.
You know, the STBC properties are almost sold, but the property at Hanamakonda is particularly the hospital is renewed, renovated now in these days.
Yeah.
We have spent almost 80 lakhs on that. It's a brand new now hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Would it be possible to send some missionaries, short-term missionaries like doctors,
Uh-huh.
like ophthalmology, cardiology, or some we are badly in need of physicians, short-term physicians at least. Could it be possible for us to send some missionaries here?
Uh-huh. Yes. This is a very interesting question. Why? Because do you know we have more doctors and nurses from India here in the US. In fact, I was told in Canada as well. So I think what you're saying is, in fact, a very good way of mutual empowerment. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I hear you. I hear what you said. Yeah, I hear what you said.
Most of the time in India, this medical work has become almost like a business.
Yeah.
So if we can send some missionaries for short time, at least 2 months or 3 months like that.
Yeah.
They will demonstrate what the Christian love and way of doing medical medicine. That's why we are asking.
Yeah. Sure. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
That is possible. Please work on that.
Yeah.
Kindly do help us.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and for the
This is the only place we have protected, and we will protect also definitely.
Yeah. And for the sake of the group as well, in fact, our global consultant for health, Christine Engel, who is going to share tomorrow, has visited India many times, and then in fact she works directly with the hospitals. Yeah, but Reverend Babu, I will make sure that I will continue this conversation with you. All right. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reverend.
Okay. Yeah. And as I said, if you have further questions, you can put it in the chat box and I will save it and I will pass it to our colleagues. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, David. I'm so glad that you can share such a significant ministry you are doing and you impact so many people's lives, including myself. Right? Okay, so may we have the privilege to have John to say the closing prayer for us? Yeah, you can. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. A wise mentor and friend a long time ago taught me that sometimes we need to pray with our eyes open so that we have even a better vision of who we're praying for and the places where God's people are gathered in worship, that we can pray for them. And so as we see each other tonight, we do lift up Rhonda, and we do lift up Joyce, and we do lift up David. We give them our prayers and our hearts filled with love for the work that God has called them to do, as we also pray for Ben and thank God for the work that as we see you, Ben, we pray for you and we thank God for you, and the wide circle that is represented in the churches and in the leaders and those who are listening in this morning. We thank God for this time. We thank God for each other, and we thank God for all of the love that we have received as disciples of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you,
Thank you,
John. And thank you for everybody. Hope that you can share
Thank
what you
you.
hear from the presentation and in this breakup group with brothers and sisters and your friends. And I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. US time. So you need to check your time. So it's about what? 11 hours from now, right? Okay.
Yes.
Take some good food, take some good rest. I'll see you again.
Blessings,
Bye-bye.
my brothers and sisters.
Thank
Yes.
you. God bless you all.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bless you.
Bye. Bye.